It is week 3 of the college football season. We got 6 picks on the way, 3 spreads, 3 totals. It is Austin, joined by our friend Logan. Let's dive into our favorite picks, though, Logan. But I got to talk about you last week, man. What the heck was that? A 1-3 week? I went 3-1. We need better out of you, and I'm confident you got a 3-0 card cooked up for the people today. Look, I think we're 11-11 on the year for our channel, so we're definitely do some positive regression. Hopefully, we have a great week. We got 6 picks. We're gonna dive right into them. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, drop a like too. But Logan, I want to let myself go off first. I went 3-1 last week. I'm gonna dive into my first pick, but I do want to have a surprise announcement. It is because it is my older sister's birthday today on Friday, September 15th, when the video is dropping. It's her birthday, and in honor of that, I got her birthday gift, and it will be me fading her alma mater, the Florida State Seminoles, as I will be going to the other side. Boston College plus 26.5. That's my first pick of the weekend, minus 110. I'm BetMGM. Now, obviously, I would have loved if this was like 28.5, but I'll take the line that they're giving me, 26.5. I'll take it. Now, this is a huge number for Florida State to cover on the road, and no doubt, I'm not going to come out here and say the Seminoles are not better than the Eagles. No, that would be a lie. I mean, Seminoles are obviously much better than the Boston College Eagles. However, with Clemson on deck next weekend, I could see the Noles overlooking Boston College on Saturday. Boston College, sure, they're not a great program. I mean, they've obviously are an historic one, but this year they've been all right. 1-1 on the year. They lost by 3 opening week, then won by 3 last week, and they have a new quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, a transfer from UCF, and he's giving them that dual threat action that I really do like. I think that gives them a good element of their offense. Last year, they did not have that, and they lost by 30 in Tallahassee to the Noles. And I think they have a chance here on Saturday. Now, I'm not saying they win this game outright, although if they do, you better hit that subscribe button because that would be a masterclass call. But I still think FSU maybe struggles a little bit. They've obviously looked really good through 2 weeks, destroying LSU in week 1, then destroyed Southern Miss last week, and obviously Southern Miss is kind of a cupcake on their schedule. But with Clemson on deck next week, I really don't think you'll see the Noles really maybe test out some new plays, new routes. I don't really think they want to give Clemson more footage to, get prepared for next weekend's game. Obviously, Clemson maybe is not, the same, magnitude of game as we have seen over the last decade when Clemson, was in that top 4 conversation every year long. But still, it's still going to be a big time matchup that obviously Florida State's going to be prepared for next weekend. So I could see them overlooking Boston College. So the Eagles have the defense capable of making some stops against a very good Florida State offense. We could see maybe Florida State get up early in this one. Maybe we just see them coast in the second half, and they allow Boston College to maybe flirt and make this like a 17, 20 point, 21 point type game. At the end of the day, I really do like the Boston College Eagles on Saturday at home, plus 26.5. An added motivation factor for Thomas Castellanos. Their quarterback was actually recruited by Mike Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles, but instead of playing quarterback, they recruited him as an athlete or a running back. I think that they're saying, hey, you're not a good quarterback. Hopefully he takes that added extra motivation, a little chip on his shoulder into Saturday's action, tries to prove to this Florida State team that he is indeed a quarterback. He's played pretty well through 2 games. I'll take Boston College, plus 26.5. I know it's ugly. No one likes fading, the team ranked 3rd in college football, but I think Boston College is the better side to be on. But Logan, I like your first pick. Where are you going on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm taking Liberty -3 in this one, -115 odds of BetMGM, currently your best value there. Now I'm taking the Flames to win and cover against, to me, an inferior Buffalo team. I just think Liberty is a lot better team on paper and on the eyeball test as well. In their most recent outing, Liberty won 33-17 last week against New Mexico State, continuing kind of the role that they need to be on, which is, earning that respect and, getting their name out there. Because I just think if you look at Buffalo's still winless on the year, and I don't really think that's going to change today, even in a small spread. I'm comfortably backing Liberty and quarterback Caden Salter. If you're not familiar with Salter, he's an electric player. He's a dual threat quarterback. He can get it done through the air. He went 15 for 25, 276, and 2 touchdowns through the air last week. Also on the ground, 43 yards and on the ground, 2 touchdowns as well. I just think Buffalo is going to have a hard time stopping the Flames offense. Look at what Liberty did last week. 500 yards of total offense. Buffalo's defense last week did not look good at all. Gave up 459 yards, 309 yards passing at home to FCS school Fordham. I mean, that's Fordham. And I definitely, they struggled to get off the field in that one. Fordham 11 for 19 on 3rd down in that game. So the fact that Buffalo's defense just cannot get off on the field, I think Liberty can just flat out outscore them on the season for 3rd down conversions. Liberty's hitting above 50%. They're 53.85% on 3rd down, which is what you like to see. And we look at if Salter is even close to what Fordham did last week. Fordham had averaged 13.4 1.4 yards per pass play last week. Buffalo's defense gave up that chunk yardage, and I think Liberty's offense is definitely going to be able to get that chunk yardage as well. Key loss for Buffalo's defense is Devin Grant. He got ejected for a targeting penalty, so he's going to be out for the first half. And I think that's actually going to be a big loss for a defense that's already not all that great. Buffalo is also they're not a stranger to Liberty's coach Jamie Chadwell. Jamie Chadwell used to coach for Coastal Carolina. He was the coach of Coastal Carolina back when I used to love betting them. I used to bet Coastal all the time. Back in 2017 to 2022, Chadwell had a really good spread option offense at Coastal Carolina. He's kind of implementing that new style at Liberty as well. I just think this game sets up really well for Liberty. I think Liberty will win this one quite convincingly. But Austin, what's your second pick?
Logan, if people didn't like my first pick, I can assure you they will not like my second pick, as I will be fading the Penn State Nittany Lions and taking their team total under 31.5 points on Saturday, currently minus 115 on FanDuel. I really don't expect this line to change a whole lot. Now, I was either between fading Penn State's team total or taking the full game under. You can take either of them if you want to maybe go to the under and you don't want to take Penn State's regular. I don't mind that either. However, I know everyone's going to be on Penn State minus 14.5 and also on the over in this game for good reasons. But I think they struggle in their first true road matchup against the Illinois Fighting Illini. Now, so far through 6 quarters of football, last week we saw Illinois' defense not look good. I mean, they gave up 28 points in week 1 to Toledo, 28 points in the first half, Jalen Daniels and the Kansas offense. However, that unit finally figured it out. And the second half of last week's game only gave up 6 points to a very good Kansas offense. Now, sure, maybe Kansas took the foot off the gas pedal, but still, their defense looked like the top 10 unit that we had expected. I mean, Illinois last year was a pretty solid team, a tough team to win against because their defense was so good. It wasn't their offense scoring tons of points. They just ran the football. It was their defense holding it down. And I like that they're still a run-heavy team. They're going to have some longer possessions if they can, convert those third and shorts against this Penn State defense. And at the end of the day, I think this Illinois defense can make life difficult on Drew Aller and the Nittany Lions offense. Now, so far through 2 games, Drew Aller obviously has looked great. I mean, they've won pretty convincingly in both games. They've scored 38 points in week 1, 63 in week 2. But both those games are at home. And this is going to be his first true Big Ten road start. And I think he struggles. Maybe he makes a mistake on third down in the red zone. Maybe he just misses a throw in the red zone. Or maybe he has to settle for field goals and not touchdowns. That's an easy way to get the team total under 31.5 points. A big time total. I mean, in a big time game, I think Illinois is playing, on upset alert here. I'm not saying they win this game, but I think they can keep this one close within the 2 touchdown spread that it is. So I'm going to fade the Nittany Lions. I know it's crazy given how they've looked so far this season, but they haven't played, the best of best competition. I think we can see Penn State maybe struggle a little bit in their first true road start for Drew Aller. He played a little bit on the road last year in some blowouts, but obviously much different playing in a blowout than it is, starting on under center on your first snap. I think he struggles a little bit. Give me the Penn State Nittany Lions team total under 31.5 points. But Logan, you also have an under, and you're going to your alma mater. Where's your under going to be this week?
I'm going to the Swamp for my pick, and I'm taking the Tennessee and Florida under 58.5 total points, minus 110 odds on BetMGM. Currently your best value there. Now, I think the under is the best play in this game, although I don't hate the look of taking Florida with the points. I think Florida will be a sneaky underdog, but the fact that everyone's kind of talking about them as a sneaky underdog makes me think they're not as sneaky as I once thought. But I definitely think Florida will be competitive in this game, and I don't really see them covering in a high-scoring game. Look at last year. I think we're going to see an opposite type game flow of last year. Last year, the final score was 38-33. Florida did cover that one as 11-point underdogs, but I don't see a shootout like that coming in the Swamp. This is a much different Florida offense than they were last year, and we'll look at the Gators last week. They faced McNeese, and although McNeese is an inferior opponent, they still only allowed 112 yards of total offense. So they're tuning up their defense a little bit better in that one. And against also Tennessee played a cupcake as well. And disrespect, yeah, I know, but they played Austin Peay. They didn't look all that great early in that game. We look at quarterback Joe Milton. He struggled a little bit out of the gate in that one. He completed just one of his first 8 pass attempts. We know Tennessee loves to get those explosive, long pass plays. But if Joe Milton isn't as polished early on in the season as the Tennessee offense was last year, I definitely think we could see a defensive battle, or at least early in this one. Look at the Florida ground game. That's how Florida is going to stay in this game. They know they should be a run first team, and that's kind of what we're looking for in an under. 6 out of the 7 total touchdowns last week for Florida's offense was on the ground. They had 327 yards of total rushing yards. Hopefully it proves to be kind of the stepping stone you need to really get that ground attack against a good opponent in Tennessee. I think they know what their identity is as this offense, and it's not Graham Mertz dropping back. Graham Mertz, not that guy. He's not a through the air type. He's a short and intermediate throws at best. This should still be a run the ball, time of possession type team in Florida. And look at Florida's defense. I think they're going to really have a game plan against Tennessee because Florida's defense ranks third best in the nation, only allowing 191 total yards per game. Florida's defense also been good on third down this year, seventh best in third down conversion percentage allowed. This is going to be a tough matchup for them, obviously against Tennessee, but the Swamp will absolutely be rocking. I'm hopefully not going to jinx the Gators when I say the Vols haven't won in Gainesville since 2003. And, I'm a UF alum. I had the luxury of never seeing a Tennessee win in the Swamp, and I hope that doesn't change. I hope the 12th man will be rocking in a sold-out Swamp and make things difficult for Tennessee, communicating signals, hopefully causing some false start penalties. I think the under 58.5 is the clear play in this one. I think it stands a really good chance of cashing. But Austin, what else are you going with?
Logan, you bet an under in one of the bigger time games this weekend, but it won't be as big as the under that I'm going with because I'm going to James Madison and the Troy Trojans, taking the under 46.5 points, minus 106 on FanDuel. Now, last week, if you were to take a James Madison and their Dukes, the under in their game, you looked like a straight fool as the line was about 38.5. And nearly that should have been the team total line for both teams as they both combined to score 71 points. I think it was a 36-35 James Madison victory. I think this line's an overreaction. If you were to throw that game out of the system and say that game never happened, I think this line sits at around 42, low 40s. So I think we're getting a big overreaction to this one. And I think we're at a good spot here. Now, last week we saw James Madison obviously struggle on defense. It was against Virginia, a very pass-heavy team. They said running the football, never heard of it. They just kept passing it. And that is how you're going to beat a team like James Madison, a team that is really stout against the run, not as great against the pass. But I think this sets up perfectly for us because this is a Troy offense that wants to run the football. But how good is this Duke's defensive line? Well, this season, allowing just half a yard per rushing attempt. Yeah, you heard that right. Half a yard per rush attempt. Now, you might say, Austin, that's a fluke. It's only 2 games. And yeah, that's number 1 in the nation. But last year, the Dukes, 2.6 yards per carry. That was also number 1 in college football. So they clearly have something going for them on the defensive line in that scheme to stop and force teams. Maybe they run it on first down consistently, force them into those second and long, second and 10, second and 9, really get them behind the sticks and make it tough to continuously convert, second down, third downs and 7 or 8 or 9 and things of that nature. So on Saturday, I expect them to have that same kind of game plan against the Troy offense that wants to run the football. This season, 60 pass attempts, 70 rush attempts for Troy. This is a team that wants to run the football, almost 50%, sometimes more than that, and they're going to go up against a very tough defensive line. Hopefully we get them into second and third and longs and hopefully get them off the field, and I'm not afraid really of the Duke's offense. So hopefully the James Madison defense steps up, does their thing. However, for the Duke's offense, let's look at them. You look at them, they're also a run-heavy offense too. 56 pass attempts this year compared to 75 rush attempts. You look at Troy last season, allowed the 24th fewest yards per carry, just like this James Madison team. They were very stout against the run, getting teams behind in the sticks. This year, the numbers aren't as good as they were last year, but I expect those numbers to climb back down to where they were last year. Very similar team that they had last season. I really think the under is the better spot to be in for this team. I know Troy is favored at home, so maybe the Troy offense struggles a little bit more against James Madison, but maybe the James Madison offense, which looked great last week, struggles in this one on the road. I just don't trust James Madison consistently put up 35 points. I think their defense is very talented to get this Troy team off the field. So the under 46.5 is one of my favorite plays of the week. Minus 106, the line should not change. I really think this is a good one. I think that's a winner. But Logan, wrap up the video with your third and final pick of the day. And I won't lie to you, it's disgusting. But what do you got for the people?
The disrespect for my South Alabama Jags is real. I'm taking South Alabama plus 7.5 in this one, minus 112 odds on DraftKings. Currently your best value there. Now, this is a line reading play. And if you're not familiar with that is, it's just lines that stick out to me. And I think the line on this one is sticking out to me because a lot of people are probably going to take Oklahoma State, probably take them minus 7.5 or even minus 7. Because they're just the better team. Well, I think Vegas is kind of begging you to take Oklahoma State, playing at home as just the better team. But I don't really think Oklahoma State is the better team. First of all, they don't have a whole lot of offensive continuity, especially at the quarterback position. They use like 3 quarterbacks already, Rangel, Bowman, and Gundy, rotating them in and out. They can't really decide, who's the true signal caller there. And I think this South Alabama offense is definitely one of those offenses that can keep this game close. And it starts with the run game. LaDamian Webb, 121 yards on 16 carries, 7.6 yards per carry, which I like that. 2 touchdowns on the ground for South Alabama. South Alabama's offense averaged just over 161 yards on the ground through 2 games. So again, they have the rushing ability to go out and keep this within that 1-score game. And we look at how good South Alabama's been. They went 10-3 last season, and I love the continuity they have. Even though they're a small team, they returned 18 starters from last year's team under head coach Womack. So again, if you're ever looking in college football, kind of my philosophy and the team that should be on upset alert is a big name school playing a veteran smaller name school, and that's kind of what we get here. Jags quarterback Carter Bradley, he is no spring chicken. He's been in college forever, 6th year of college. He spent his first 4 years at Toledo. He had 2,400 yards, 14 touchdowns there, but 2022. Bradley over 3,000 yards passing, 28 touchdowns for South Alabama. He's no stranger to this offense, and I definitely think the continuity is going to be the key in this one. And South Alabama, we know they can play the Power 5 schools tough. Look at what they did last year. They lost to UCLA by 1. That was a game that almost shocked the world. The Jaguars, I'm telling you right now, are going to be hungry for another crack at a Power 5 school. And I think that's why South Alabama covers the plus 7.5. Look, 7's a key number in football. We all know that. Having the hook on our side should be make us feel better about this one cashing. I really think the South Alabama Jags could shock the world in this one. Everyone loaded up on Oklahoma State money line in their parlays. Just saying, be careful.
Logan, that was disgusting, but I'm always for backing a team with the abbreviation of USA. And ladies and gentlemen, what you just watched was what we call a 6-0 sweep. At least I hope it will be. 6 picks, 6 winners. Let us know your favorite picks down below for Saturday in college football. We'll obviously be back next week with some more college football picks, but we will have some NFL picks, obviously, for Sunday. I'll put those videos when they are live, pop up on the screen. We'll have our spread picks video live on Friday afternoon, and then we'll have our player props and more things live on Saturday afternoon as well. But let's have a great Saturday in college football. Let's dominate the slate. Have a great 6-0 week. Would be absolutely electric. Let's get it done, and we'll see you guys again next week. Peace.